Wouldn't it be great to be able to fly like this hummingbird? A hummingbird can hover any place in the air. It can fly straight up or down. It can even fly backwards. No other bird can do all these things. The smaller the bird, the more easily it can move about as it flies. Hummingbirds are the smallest of all birds, and yet the fastest. It takes a lot of energy to fly the way these tiny birds do. Hummingbirds eat the nectar of flowers and insects. These are high-energy foods. Normally, a hummingbird's wings beat so very fast that we only see a blur. The wings beat about 60 times a second. Through special photography, the wing beating is slowed down to permit us to see it clearly. Its wings and body are turned so that the wings are pulling almost straight up. This one hovers as it gets a drink of water from a bubbler. A hummingbird has a long, slim beak that it uses to reach into flowers. The hummingbird's tongue reaches out even further than its beak. Watch closely now as it sticks its tongue out. The hummingbird moves quickly from flower to flower in order to get as much nectar as possible. These birds also get food from feeders put out by people who enjoy watching them. The feeders contain a mixture of 1 part white sugar to about 5 parts water. This has almost the same nutrition as the nectar of flowers. Hummingbirds are only found in the Americas. They have never migrated to other parts of the world. Some are a little larger than others, but they are all very small birds. The hummingbird's colors are green, blue, brown, red, and rust with some black and white. Many of the males have iridescent colors or the colors of the rainbow around their necks. Look closely for the tiny bird to flash these colors. This hummingbird is collecting bits of string that it will use in building a nest. Most nests are made of small feathers, bits of plant material, and threads from spider webs. The female usually lays 2 eggs, each smaller than a jelly bean. The eggs are so small that a penny covers both eggs. The female sits on the eggs. She is often a greenish color and therefore hard to see. She warms the eggs from 2 to 3 weeks. During this time, she seldom leaves the nest except to quickly get some food. As soon as the young hatch, the mother is kept very busy feeding them. The young are fed insects and nectar every few minutes. Sometimes only one baby survives the first few days. The young hummingbirds grow quickly. In a few days, this young one is almost as large as its mother. The mother tidies up her nest and pecks and grooms her nearly grown baby. The mother continues to care for her rapidly growing young. In a few more days, the young bird is able to fly short distances and leaves the nest to await food on a nearby branch. The young bird stretches and takes a short practice flight as it waits for its mother to return with food. It takes a lot of food to satisfy a young one once it has started to fly. The mother must bring food every few minutes. But the young bird will soon be on its own, and the mother will finally get some rest. If you have a place where you can plant some flowers, you can plant the kinds that hummingbirds like. They seem to prefer red flowers. Hummingbirds help flowers to reproduce by carrying pollen from flower to flower as they gather nectar and insects. It is a lot of fun to put out a feeder filled with sweetened water. Sometimes 2 or 3 birds will drink together. Then something happens and they seem to fight over the food. Be sure the feeder is kept clean and not allowed to become empty. A hummingbird may drink several times its own weight in nectar or sugar water every day. This is the natural food that it must have. Hummingbirds don't have loud calls as do many other birds, but you may hear their little squeaks and their humming wings that give them their name as they fly around your feeder. Some seem relaxed as they feed, while others seem very nervous. You can make your own feeder from a bottle, some wire, a cork with a hole in it, an eyedropper without the bulb, and a plastic flower. Hummingbirds are easy to attract and watch. They are one of the most interesting birds you can get to know.